Hello, everybody. This is Jason, your host, and today is going to be a solo episode because I was supposed to post today an episode, the part 2 of last week's, where they were talking about, dating and whatnot. But when I was editing it, I started thinking to myself. I was talking to one of my friends, and I came to this wonderful, interesting conclusion that when it comes to dating, why do we make excuses for exes that we have? Why do we try to justify their bad behavior, the negative things they do, the negative things they say, how they treat people? I'm really, really curious because I'm not going to call them out. So I'm just going to use my nicknames, okay? We're going to say A and B. We're going to say A and B. Girl A, girl B. Girl A and B were discussing their previous dating history. And they've dated similar people. When I mean similar, I mean similar in style and on occasion the same person. Weird, whatever. And I've noticed something. And that something is that, and again, no discourage them because women and men can do this too. They have no fucking taste in men. None. Fucking zero. None. None at all. And I know I say this sounds like an absolute rant because it's going to be a rant because this is just off the top of my head. And again, I have disclaimer. This is not a shot against women specifically or men specifically. And when I say people don't have taste in somebody, I mean that so far their track record with partners is not stellar. And I don't think it's a type thing because I don't think people have types. I just think that when I say people don't have taste in men or taste in women, it's just the people that they decide to put up with, the people they decide to date and to continue and do all this work toward are garbage. They have garbage decision-making skills when it comes to that area. Because these two black women have legitimately dated actual racists. And have had legitimate, they say racial things. They dated racists, people who hit on women, people who dog women, things like that. I wasn't trying to be mean when I was trying to give the person advice. I just said simply to them, you don't have any taste in men or women. And they said, what do you mean? I was like, when we first started being friends, you were defending them saying the typical stuff like, oh, I did this and, they got upset, blah, blah, blah. And that's a whole different conversation about people who feel as though they've got to protect that significant other. They feel like they've done something wrong. It's a completely different conversation. I'm talking about once you've realized that it's not your fault and it's definitely that motherfucker's fault, you decide to defend them, which is total bullshit. Total unalterated, no sugar free, all sugar, gluten, all that good stuff. Bullshit. It is. It simply is. Because let's look at the facts here. I was arguing with her that she dated an actual racist. She's like, well, I didn't know he was racist until about a year and a half in. That's bullshit. There's no fucking way you don't know somebody's racist after dating them for a year when you live with them for a little bit. That's total bullshit. You know whether or not they shower in a week. You know whether or not they like butter on their toast in 3 weeks. You know whether or not they know just anything, how they part their hair. You know a lot about a person in a year and a half. And I'm telling you right now, racism is not something you can hide like that. I do not believe that for 1 second. You can't. Racial slurs, racial epithets. She said her fucking nickname from dude was Monkey. Get the hell out of here. That's stupid. You let love blind you. And that's what people do sometimes. And no, I'm usually more like a mild-mannered, calm dude, whatever. I understand that. But this is just ridiculous. You let your love blind you to the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is he was a racist. And there's a few possible outcomes. And I won't list all of them. I'll list the ones that specifically fit to her. She probably felt, both of them did. I'm going to say both of them because they're very similar. They're like the same person. A and B are the same person. They grew up together. They are the same friggin' person. It is what it is. They have the same taste in men. But they've dated and messed with the same dude. Same taste in men. Trust me. I'm an expert on this particular case. I've listened to them talk about this for years. The thing that they're similar on is the fact that, or the thing that, how to say this, her defenses were the same. Their defenses, that I didn't know he was a racist, or he was still good. He was still a good person, but he had his moments of racism. People don't have their racist moments. It's not like a fucking cold. You don't just, I caught the racism today. That's total bullshit. They lied to you, or you ignored it. Because racism isn't something that just comes and goes. It's not something that it's hit you now, and now, whoop-de-doo, I'm a racist today. No, racism is something that is ever present in your psychology. It's a part of who you are as a person. Yes, you can grow out of it. Yes, you can move past it and grow. You can grow out of that using life experiences and other things like that. But to say that you're going to start off rip, and just say that, oh, no, I'm just slightly racist. There is no such thing. Racism is a psychological lean to where you think the superiority of one race or the inferiority of another. You think the way you were born, your skin pigment, and things like that make you a better person off top. You believe stereotypes about them. And I was explaining to her that because these people are racist, they think she is less racist. They think she's just a sex-ridden person who was automatically, not as smart as them, not as capable as them. They couldn't live on their own. They had these preconceived notions about you because they are racist. That is why racism is so dangerous. Because when somebody is actually racist, they look at you as lesser of a person. They look at you as less than them. Racism is extremely dangerous, and people blow it off. People always blow it off. And I'm not saying it's a white-black thing. I didn't mean in general. Racism, anyway, in direction, is bad because it has that position, that thought process that I am naturally more superior than you because of the way how you were born, what you look like. That is dangerous at its core. That is dangerous no matter how you look at it. And a lot of people I know push that shit right under the rug in the pursuit of love, in the pursuit of pussy, in the pursuit of dick, or in the pursuit of getting rid of their loneliness. And it's sad. It really is. I know one of my friends, she half dated this dude, and I mean half dated, for years. She treated him like a boyfriend. He treated her like a side piece, even though he didn't have anybody, for years. Treated her terribly, yelled at her all the time, did all these awful things. But he had other qualities that she liked. And I'm like, that's stupid. That's dumb. If they don't treat you like a functioning adult who is smart, who is intelligent, who is equal, then they're not worth your time. You need to kick them to the curb. Period. Point blank, period. Do not settle for these people. And there's a difference between settling and compromising. Compromise is where you both sat down and you both decided that I am going to do this. I am going to, together with my partner, come to this conclusion because we feel like this is the right one to come to together. We meet in the middle. Settling is where you decided this is unacceptable, but I'd rather have something than nothing. And people settle all the fucking time, which is ridiculous. It's the same thing, like, when I go back to the thing about them talking about taste, these girls have dated emotionally and physically abusive people, but they still try to justify it. And I know that's a symptom of that mentality. You get trapped in that mentality, and I am no psychologist by any stretch of the matter. Just because I dated a psychologist for a couple of years, it doesn't mean I'm a psychologist. I hate when people do that. It doesn't mean anything. That being said, she explained to me, she used to explain to me that this is something that they have to work on. So I'm not knocking them for that. That aspect of their dating pool is just because they've been with certain people who've had these traits. They have no choice over that. It's just something that they have to work on. So I'm not knocking that. There would be people who treat them like this. I'm not knocking that. I'm just knocking the fact of defending these people years after the fact. That's ridiculous. And it's weird because they act shocked. I've seen them act shocked when racist things happen. Legitimate shock. I've actually seen, no lie, no bullshit. I've actually seen one of my people say that when she was called the N-word by a dude, she was like, I can't believe he said that. He has mixed kids. Because these two girls I know, they have mixed kids. And I'm like, that don't mean shit. I don't want you. A whole lot of racist people have mixed kids. What you talking about? A ton of mixed kids who have a ton of people. Because here's the thing. They value your body, not who you are. Racism. Listen, slave owners used to have sex with slaves all the time. Thomas Jefferson, not saying he's a racist or not, but Thomas Jefferson definitely had a bunch of mixed kids. Because just because they find you sexually appeasing. There's a lot of people who are homophobic who still have sex with men. So it's the same logic. Just because they find you to be physically appealing to them does not mean they respect you or have anything close to respect towards you. Because the truth of the matter is they don't and they won't. Basically, they see you as a lesser either way, but your body is something that they physically like. I've seen racists, their significant other either, bring them out in public and like, oh, this is my baby, this is what somebody I like, whatever. But when they get mad, oh, you're nothing but a dirty N-word, you're nothing but this, or this. And it don't make no fucking sense. It don't make no sense. It cannot be explained to me. I will never understand it. No one can ever explain to me how in the world this is acceptable thinking, this is acceptable process of examining relationships. That people think that this is something that this is okay. This is okay. It's not okay. It doesn't matter how nice a person is or how well they work or anything. It's not okay. And I feel for these girls. I really do, because I've heard the stories of them talking about how they're gonna have a life with this person, and they do things over the moon to keep it. Because a lot of time when these people think that their relationship is going to fall apart, they'll do things they don't want to do. They'll have threesomes. They'll let the partner cheat on them. They'll do all the things that they do not want to do to keep a partner. They will. I've seen it. I know friends who have been in threesomes as the extra person because they were asked by the person, so because they wanted it, even though the partner didn't want it. They do these things to keep a man, to keep a woman. And what they don't understand is that is dangerous. That's dangerous and it's detrimental, because all that doing is perpetuating the idea, the concept that relationships are bargaining chips. That you can get whatever you want from a relationship as a bargaining chip. Like, I'll stay with you if you do X, Y, and Z. I'll keep dating you if you do X, W, X, Y, stuff like that. These are bargaining chips. And what people don't understand is that is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous concept. When something like that is a bargaining chip, it can't be undone. It really, really can't. And it's something that's dangerous. It's ultimately something that's going to cause you a lot of mental strain, a lot of physical strain, because mental and physical are really tied. Physical, mental, emotional. It's things that it takes years to repair the damage from that. It does. And people don't get that. And that's a very fundamental issue that we are all dealing with, especially these women. So when I was giving them advice, I felt sadness. I felt sadness mixed with my anger. More anger, don't get twisted. But sadness, because I knew that they knew it was wrong, but their heart led them a certain way. That's why I always tell people, follow your heart and your head. Never follow just one. Because you follow just one, you're going to get burned. You're going to fall down a rabbit hole, fall into something that you're not prepared for, fall into something that you're not ready for, simply because you're not equipped right. You don't know what to do, so you pick one or the other, when in reality it should be both. You can love somebody, but love is actions and feelings. It's actions and emotions. And people mix that up. People confuse that. They tie it together. Think it's the same thing. It's not the same thing, nor has it ever been the same thing. And people have to understand that. Another thing that I've noticed is they will do a thing, people do this in general. They'll look back at the fond moments in a way of relationship, like, if they only had not done this, we'd be still together. But the problem with that is, if this person is as terrible as they come out to seem to be, if what you're saying is true about them, the bad will outweigh the good. Like, just because they're sweet to you and bring you like cupcakes or whatever, or they dick you down good enough, does not mean they can call you any kind of name or hurt you or anything like that. People have to understand those are not equal things. That is not an equal system. That is as lopsided as hell. But they don't care about that. All they look at is the pros and cons. They look at it as, this is what I'm doing to get this, and that's all there is to it. And that's bullshit. For all intents and purposes, that's utter bullshit. And they have to understand that that's bullshit before there's any true, real growth. You know what I mean? And that real growth comes at a price. You have some emotional strain, but they say